What's up guys, I'm Shane and this is the Weekly Rundown. I'll go over the past week's videos and some news in case you missed something. Coming out on September 10th is Disney's live-action Aladdin movie on 4K Blu-ray. We dropped the review a few days ago and I gotta say, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I was skeptical of how the genie would look since there was so much negative fanfare about it, but I actually quite liked the way it turned out. And Will Smith was pretty good in the role too. He's no Robin Williams, but he put a nice spin on it. Alright! Yo, yo, woo, woo. We gave the movie an 8.5 for both audio and video. I thought it was an above average 4K transfer with some great looking HDR colors, and the musical numbers sounded excellent in Dolby Atmos. If you like the animated version, you might like this one too. It's not an almost shot-for-shot remake like The Lion King, but it was pretty close. I asked the question, which version did you guys prefer? Animated or live? It would seem that most of you prefer the animated one better. What a shit movie. I started skipping when the singing began. Hadn't read about that beforehand. Must be the worst movie experience of the year. The worst movie experience of the year? We still got a few months to go. But like I mentioned before, I thought the music was the best part. Probably the biggest release on September 10th is John Wick 3 Parabellum on 4K Blu-ray. You know, I initially reviewed the digital stream version, so I wasn't expecting too much of a difference because there are times it's very hard to tell if the physical copy is better. But the disc did look better for black levels. It was just easier to pick out more shadow detail. I gave this one a 9 for video and an 8.3 for audio. The image still looks just as good as the other two movies, so I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed here. The audio, though, made me go back and pop in part 1 and part 2 just to be sure I wasn't imagining how disappointing I thought the Atmos mix was. Part 3 sounded like it just wasn't as dynamic as the other two. I mean, the gun shootouts sounded really good, but the gunplay in the other two were much better sounding. And the bass in part 3 was just average. I know I gave the digital stream an 8.7 for audio, but after rewatching the first two movies, I had to go back and give part 3 an 8.3. This is an interesting comment. The HDR is actually more restrained in this one than the previous two. I'm curious to see what the max light output will be for this compared to the second one. Your 8.7 Atmos score is an insult though. This may be the best Atmos track of the year, even better than Godzilla King of the Monsters. The final act, especially the MPX bullets, were so percussive and visceral. I can't tell if you're kidding or not. Better sounding than Godzilla? If you like the John Wick movie so far, you'll probably like this one. For the music lovers out there, we did a review for the Cambridge Audio Edge amp and preamp. I really like this setup. Not only is it one of the best looking pieces of stereo gear I've come across, it's also one of the best sounding. It's rocking Cambridge's XA amplifier design, which makes it have Class AB efficiency with the sound of a Class A amp. It also gets warm like a Class A amp too, and I don't mean just heat, it's actually warm sounding. It's got a smooth high end with a banging bottom. Of course, a lot of things in life cost a small fortune, and this pair is no exception. It costs $7 grand. If you've got the spare change, then this might be something to look into. If you're starting off your audio journey into 2-channel or building up your first home theater setup, the Golden Ear Triton 5s is a great starting point. We dropped our review for the speakers on the Audioholics channel. I'll leave a link for it in the description down below. The tower speakers sell for $2,000 a pair. They sound amazing with music, with a very clean high end. If you have a chance to check them out, I'd highly advise you to do so. And in portable audio news, Sony is releasing a throwback to the original Walkman for its 40th anniversary. But don't get too excited, it won't play your cassette tapes. It's just an Android-powered DAP. It does, however, have a cover that looks like the original Walkman, hiding a 3.6-inch display. The NWA100 TPS will have 26 hours of battery life and have a USB-C port. There's no price or availability yet, but being Sony, I'm sure it's going to be overpriced. Well, that about wraps it up. I'll leave links to all the videos I mentioned in the description if you want to check out the full versions. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow us on social media and stop by our Patreon page. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again in the next one.